Hi everybody, and welcome back to my video, whether you are watching on YouTube or on Rumble. Whichever one you happen to be watching this on. Oh boy, yesterday, what a mess, a lot going on. So much going on, Saturday morning, Saturday? Oh boy, what a mess, what a weekend. So much stuff between the No Kings March, parade, protest, whatever you want to call that. Protesting against Trump. Trump's, now they almost got me saying that the military's, the U.S. Army's 250th birthday parade, and all that stuff going on. And then, the stuff that we're going to get into talk about in this video, the assassination of a lawmaker in Minnesota and her husband. I believe last I heard there was a couple of other lawmakers that were shot, but last I heard they were still around, but in critical condition. As of right now, the time that I am filming this video, and I do not know if they caught the guy yet. But anyways, right after this happened, oh boy, right after this happened, immediately people started pointing the finger at Trump. People started to assign blame to Trump and MAGA. Before any facts were even out. And we still don't know everything. But what we do know, something that has came out since those allegations against MAGA, or that people trying to blame MAGA for it, and Trump for this, what has come out is both the shooter and the guy that did it, and the guy's wife, are associated with Tim Waltz. Waltz, the guy who was running as vice president with Kamala Harris. He would have been Kamala Harris' vice president. That guy. And they try to blame Trump for this. They try to assign blame to Trump. I was seeing all kinds of crazy posts Saturday about tell me again who's the violent one. And then they bring up this, that, and then they make up this stuff about that shooter, and maybe even bring up January 6th. Well, actually, a lot of people do keep bringing that up. And some posts keep just bringing this up, that shooting. And then they try to call us hypocrites, and you call us the violent ones. Well, first of all, we don't know all the facts. All the facts are not even out yet, and you're already quick to assign blame. Okay, we don't know any facts. We don't know any detail. We still don't know any facts. They're trying to claim that the guy that did it was a Trump supporter, that he was MAGA and he voted for Trump. Meanwhile, there's no evidence of that. Apparently, Minnesota does not keep record of that kind of information, so there's no direct way of knowing any of that stuff. They try to claim that he was a registered Republican. Which, by the way, even if that were true, it would prove nothing. There's a difference between being a registered Republican and being a MAGA supporter. And either way, in either case, Trump would have absolutely nothing to do with this. MAGA would have absolutely nothing to do with this. Even if the guy turned out to actually be a Trump supporter, and a little bit of MAGA, he'd be on the extreme side, that most of MAGA would not support. The vast majority of MAGA would not support this kind of action, would not support this any of this. Okay, we support peaceful protest and peaceful disagreements and peaceful everything. Okay? Meanwhile, the same people that were so quick to point the finger at MAGA and Trump and blame Trump for the lawmaker and her husband being assassinated on Saturday. These are the same people who, throughout the past year, there's so much stuff going on that I probably can't even keep up with everything, but throughout the past year, there's been 2 assassination attempts against Trump. And by the way, after Butler, you have people that were on TikTok practically throwing tantrums like toddlers because Trump survived Butler. Then, a second assassination attempt in September, and a third possible assassination attempt that was prevented in October, but they caught the guy before he had a chance to try anything. Okay? And then, after Trump won the 2024 election, there were people, all kinds of people on TikTok, openly calling for Trump's assassination. They were also calling for the assassination of Elon Musk, and I think even some videos was calling for the assassination of Trump's entire cabinet. Every single one of them guys. There was also people on TikTok calling for violence against MAGA supporters. No, Trump supporters. And there was also people, these are the same people who also celebrated the assassination of a United Healthcare CEO and tried to justify it and act like the guy who killed him, Luigi, I can't pronounce his last name, is some kind of hero. They treat him, that guy, like he's some kind of hero. Then you have them, all that Tesla vandalism, and throughout that, they're still trying to be more, they're still trying to vaguely call for Trump's assassination, using language like, somebody's got to do it. And the most recent one is, they've changed it up some more to 8647. And while 86 doesn't inherently mean kill or murder, it can mean kill or murder in a certain context and circumstance, situation. And in this situation, which Biden never faced, 8647 meant kill Trump. It was a code for assassinate Trump. So these people are trying to use code 8647 to spread the message to assassinate Trump. There are people posting on Twitter about how Trump just needs to go. They don't care how. That's literally about what the meme says. The stuff today is posting. It literally says something to the effect of, Trump's got to go. I don't care how. That also could be a veiled threat against Trump. There's also people on Twitter openly expressing their desire for Trump's death. They want Trump to die. They're expressing their desires for it on Twitter with memes. Biden never faced any of that. Biden never had to deal with any of that. That is why 8646 was about impeaching Biden. And 8647, and this is a different context, different situation, different circumstances. So in this particular context, 8647 has to do with assassinating Trump, and that is wrong, that is murder. and these people try to lecture us about inciting violence, about morality. And they are so quick, these are the same people that are so quick to assign blame to Trump supporters, to MAGA, when they are the ones who have a history of violence, encouraging violence, celebrating violence. Okay, these guys are the ones. Then they're making all kinds of stuff up, trying to connect that guy, that shooter, in Minnesota, to Trump, to MAGA. It's not going to work. The guy is more associated with Tim Waltz than he is Trump. Okay? And apparently, this happened days after this Minnesota lawmaker had voted against health care for illegal immigrants. Which, why were they on health care to begin with? Meanwhile, there's lots of Americans who have a hard time getting health care for all kinds of different reasons. But illegal immigrants, they can come over here and get health care for free. Just boom, instantly. Why is the U.S. government treating illegal immigrants better than they treat its own citizens? And when Trump tries to come against that, they try to act like, oh, we're being inhumane. We lack compassion. What? Like, no. Okay, like, these people, like, they had no business. I mean, Americans, they can't go to their country and get those kind of benefits. We can't go to any country in the world and get those kind of benefits for free. Okay? I mean, we can't just illegally go to other countries and get the same benefits of their citizens or better benefits than their citizens get. So why should illegal immigrants get to come over here and get the same benefits as American citizens or actual citizens? So anyways, they are so quick to assign blame when we don't know all the facts. And if anything, these same people are the ones who have a history of celebrating and encouraging violence. So, meanwhile, Trump supporters, we have no part of that. We have no part of that. In fact, the only thing that they keep bringing up is January 6, 2021. That's the only alleged incident of violence that they bring up that MAGA supposedly did. And even that's questionable because, first of all, if MAGA is responsible for January 6, 2021, why weren't they protesting and rioting like this throughout Biden's term, the entire 4 years? Why weren't they rioting and all that stuff like this? They had to go back 4 years to find something. And meanwhile, we don't even have to go back a month to find examples of violence. Okay, so as of right now, I don't know if that shooter has been caught. But I do know one thing: his motive may be unknown. His political affiliation is unknown as of right now. But one thing is for certain is that this has absolutely nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with MAGA. Even if that guy, for whatever reason, actually was a registered Republican, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Okay? Because there's a difference between being a Republican and being a Trump supporter. And apparently, this lawmaker, when she opposed that right there, when she opposed free healthcare, the healthcare for illegal immigrants, that she went against her own party. And apparently, some people are claiming that she was planning to leave her party, that she was planning to leave the Democrat Party. I do not know if that's true or not, or if she happened to be one of those Democrats who has common sense. But either way, given the violence of these people, how these people encourage violence, celebrate violence and all that, it would not surprise me if there was a grain of truth in those claims. It would not surprise me. Something else. I find it suspicious that they were so quick to point the finger at Trump and Trump supporters before the facts were even out, before we even knew anything. That is very strange. Sometimes an accusation against you is a confession. What they accuse you of doing is what they're actually guilty of doing. So, it'll be curious to see what happens, where the investigation leads, what ends up happening. That'd be interesting. Yeah, so right now, motive is unknown. I don't know if this was staged to try to make MAGA look bad, or if they're exploiting an actual assassination, like this situation, and then using that to try to pin it on MAGA and the Trump supporter, which they are grasping at straws doing so. And it has been proven that the guy is more associated with Tim Waltz, both the shooter and his wife. There is absolutely no evidence that the guy voted for Trump, that the guy was a registered Republican, that the guy is even a Trump supporter. There's absolutely no evidence of that to support that. Yet people on Twitter out there making all kinds of posts, and they're reposting them, and as if it was a verified fact. In reality, we don't know. All we know is the guy is associated with Tim Waltz. But we don't know if Tim Waltz has anything to do with what happened. We don't know. See, this is hypocrisy, which what this is to immediately point the finger at MAGA for what happened. When first of all, you don't have all the facts. After they've been celebrating and encouraging violence for months at this point. Yeah, that is it for this video. Yeah, bye.